The Avengers, featuring Diablo and the ever-delightful Dragon Man. Let sleeping dragons lie. The Mighty Avengers. Let sleeping dragons lie. We were going to begin our tintinnabulating tale with the usual synopsis. Then we remembered that there's nothing to recap, so what we say we start from scratch together, Frantic One? The son of Zeus juggles that massive weight absent-mindedly as a mere mortal might toy with a coin. The pity he is not a true Avenger. Yet, now that I've recovered from my illness, we are almost at full fighting strength once more. Another bullseye, and from a trapeze yet. If I get any better, we won't even need all Cap to come back. But watch it with those weights, will ya? Whiskers, you almost spoiled my flawless aim. Your pleas fall on deaf ears, Hawkeye. For the melancholy thoughts of Hercules are only of his exile from divine Olympus. Stan Lee majestically moguls over. A Roy Thomas and John Buscema masterpiece of matchless Marvel magnificence. Inked with dragon power by George Bell. Lettered with dragging feet by Artie Simic. Okay, true believer, it's epic time again. Ready, set, go! And now, fans, for my next miracle, I'll split my previous arrow as I gracefully drop to... Uh-oh. Heads up, Herky boy, you're tossing them barbells right in my line of fire. Hercules, look out, the weight is falling. By the careening chariot of Hermes, what befalls? The next instant, as the Lion of Olympus instinctively raises a mighty arm. Holy cow! He busted it to smithereens without even trying. Ah, now I see. 'Tis the erring shaft of Hawkeye which hath interrupted the reverie of Hercules. Here, reckless one, let the Prince of Power show thee how to use thy bow. For in fabled Olympus none but Apollo may challenge my prowess as an archer. Flake off, bright eyes, I'm testing my new super tensile bowstring and... Hey, give that back now. Hawkeye's temper starts to flare up again. Yet I know it is, because he still misses the Black Widow who has become a traitor. Fear not, I seek merely to try thy bow. But what's this? The string holds, but the bow itself breaks at my slightest pull. Verily, thou hast need of a stouter weapon. I've got one, Mr. My Fists. Lemme go, Pietro. I'm gonna give that beardnick a knuckle sandwich. Nobody goes around breaking up my best imported bows. Nobody. Pietro, stop him. I shall. My sister Hawkeye is no match for Hercules. Then, as the bellicose marksman is held back by a straining quicksilver, observe, mortal and marvel. I see it, but I don't believe it. He made a bow and arrow out of some metal pipes and a strand of cable. And precisely 1.5 seconds later, that sinks it. The control panel you busted cost Tony Stark plenty. What's more, Cap and I spent a whole day installing it. Besides, that stunt didn't prove what a hotshot you are, just that you're muscle-bound, which we already knew. Beware, archer, lest thou learn to thy sorrow what it means to incur the wrath of Hercules. If I were not thine indebted guest, thou shouldst long since have regretted thy brash words. Why did you release Hawkeye, my brother? He is a grown man. It's not for me to tell him what to do. Perhaps if Hercules holds his temper. But that brief hope proves ill-starred as, "You know, Whiskers, I just thought of something. No wonder Papa Zeus booted you out of Olympus for a year. It was probably the only way he could stop you from wrecking the place. Thou hast gone too far, dolt, to mock at mine unhappy exile. Now the Prince of Power shall teach thee a lesson, one that thou shalt never forget." Quickly, Pietro, you must act at once. Hercules does not realize his own strength. Your words are needless, Wanda. I was already moving into action as you spoke. 'Tis just as well. He is not worthy of mine anger. Put me down, Whitey, before I wade into you. If that is your desire, my friend, you shall have your chance. Oh, the heck with it. Fightin' won't bring Natasha back, and that's all I really care about. I'm going for a walk. Look for me when you see me comin'. Wait, Hawkeye, you're on Officer of the Day duty. One of us must always watch the video monitor. Let him go, Pietro. I'll take his place. Bah, I shall retire to my quarters, where the prattling of mere mortals shall not offend mine ears. There, in solitude, mayhap I shall discover a way to end mine unjust banishment. It's difficult to remember that, though he is an immortal, the soul of Hercules may still know the pangs of sorrow and loneliness. I wonder yet, I cannot but think that Cap or Goliath would have mastered the situation better than we. But Steve Rogers is absent on leave, and Hank Pym is involved in experiments at his suburban lab. That is why we too must be ever alert, because we have no other concerns as they do. It is Hawkeye I pity most of all. He scarcely speaks of Natasha since she stole those atomic plans only days ago. Still, I know he is always wondering if he will ever see her again. And now, just in case you were beginning to wonder the same thing, O Keeper of the Flame, let us turn back the calendar a few dramatic days, as we shift our scene to a top-secret base in a certain Far Eastern power which shall remain nameless and unrecognized. Keep your weapons at the ready. The Black Widow approaches in a stolen American plane. Look, 2 of our own craft are escorting her down. When she lands, we will deal with her. But a few minutes later, it is the beauteous Natasha who does most of the dealing, as, "Stand aside, you witless clowns. The Black Widow has no business with the likes of you. I am here to see Colonel Ling for you. I have nothing but my widow's bite." She strikes with the speed of a serpent. Hold your fire, fools! I would hear the one who was once our most valued agent. Speak, woman. Why have you risked death by coming here? And how did you find this hidden base? Few things can remain hidden from a master spy. But that does not explain why you have returned to this country. To prove my loyalty by bringing you the plans for a new American submarine. Your words are convincing. I would like to believe that you are again devoted to our cause. Yet, you were sent to America to destroy the accursed Avengers, and still they live. Because they are of no importance, my Colonel. Even now, they are divided by mistrust and confusion. Special reminder for forgetful people, Natasha is actually in the Far East as a double agent for S.H.I.E.L.D. Rascally Roy. Thanks, Roy. Smiley. Where is your driver taking us? Don't you wish to examine the blueprints I have brought? Time enough for that later. Black Widow for the present. I have something much more momentous to show you. Since you were clever enough to locate our base, it is only fitting that you learn its awesome purpose. Then, a short time later, the sinister colonel escorts his unheralded guest through a labyrinthine maze of subterranean defenses until, beyond those deadly lasers, is the device that shall make us masters of the world. Countless spies have perished in vain, trying to learn the secret which I shall now reveal to you. Scant seconds afterward, when the pair have passed through the final massive doors. Behold, Madame Natasha, the weapon beside which the West's puny hydrogen bomb shall soon seem but a child's plaything. Behold, the Psychotron. Yes, the Psychotron, dread spectre of 1,000 unending nightmares. Only a mere handful of statesmen and scientists in the world have heard the hushed rumors of its existence, even its very possibility. And when these brave men hear its name spoken in muted whispers, they tremble in stark fear. You see before you, Widow, the end result of 2 decades of never-ceasing research. Of priceless information which was begged, borrowed, or killed for. So, at last, you are on the verge of success. After all these years, after all the multitude of abject failures, the Psychotron exists. Even you, our foremost agent, were not allowed to know the full import of what we intended. And now, victory lies within our grasp, for whom the gods would destroy, they first make mad. Come, I have something very special to show you. I believe you will recognize our chief scientist, do you not? Dr. Yen, the man who brainwashed me months ago. Correct, Madame Natasha, but why bring up the dead past? It is the future which concerns us, our future. Step into my laboratory, and I shall reveal to you your destiny. The next moment, as a wary Natasha enters the darkened room, your destiny, my dear widow, is to die. Oh, this was all a trap. But why? Fool, we have been expecting your arrival as a treacherous spy for the secret American group known as S.H.I.E.L.D. Then, as a slamming metal door leaves the astonished girl in an Allen-encompassing, almost palpable blackness. Listen, female, to what may well be the final words you shall ever hear. Because you failed to destroy the hated Avengers and returned instead to betray us, you shall be the first human victim of the Psychotron. But I did not come to betray you. I am loyal. Enough lies. Activate the machine. Instantly, at the touch of a dial, 1,000 lights dance madly, an awesome electrical whine fills the Stygian gloom of the chamber, and the Black Widow suddenly finds herself in a ghastly, chimerical world that was never meant to be. That shrill, deafening noise, that horrid face, with its lethal eye-beams circling closer, ever closer. Of course, that is the ultimate power of the Psychotron, to fill the mind with the sounds and images of a living nightmare. Yet, because I'm not asleep, I can never escape by awakening. And that, frantic one, is where we must leave the beauteous Natasha for this issue, as, to relieve the titanic tension, we return to the United States, where, at the suburban ranch-style house, which doubles as the laboratory of renowned scientist Henry Pym, alias Goliath. Lucky that Avengers got his own derrick set up. This baby's heavy. Wonder what's in this crate, anyhow? How should I know? Maybe he bought himself a new pair of shoes. Then, when the delivery truck has gone. So the authorities finally okayed your request, Hank? Yes, Jan. There are times when being an Avenger can work wonders. I don't guess your being the world's greatest biochemist hurt much either. Well, it might have helped just a trifle, Bill. Next, after the giant-sized Goliath has smashed the constraining crate to bits, at last a year of paperwork, phone calls, and red tape has paid off. I've become the legal guardian of the inert mammoth android known as Dragon Man. But I'd rather the neighbors didn't know. They might figure he'll lower property values. I don't understand, Hank. What do you want with him? You gotta be kiddin', honey. Let me shrink down to normal size and I'll explain. Dragon Man is the most indescribably powerful android in existence. As a biochemist, I want to learn what makes him tick. But he's so still. Is he truly alive? That's not exactly a yes or no question, Jan. You see, he was invented by a professor at Empire State U. Remember the whole bit from FF number 35? Solicitous Stan. Later, he was given artificial life by a do-badder called Diablo and almost destroyed the Fantastic Four themselves. His strength is incredible, mind-staggering. I can hold him only for a few seconds then. He exerts enough pressure to break free. The FF battled Dragon Man on several occasions. And each time he seemed more powerful than before. His fiery breath overheating me. Got to blaze into the upper atmosphere. Finally, it was the Human Torch who discovered a way to immobilize him. Got to keep hammering with ultraviolet rays? He's getting a sunstroke as if he'd spent weeks under a desert sun. This was much later, of course, in FF number 47, to be precise. Stickler Stan. He was later shipped to a desert island lab where scientists have pored over him for months without learning the secret of Diablo's life force. Recently, on Reed Richards' recommendation, the authorities agreed to give me a crack at him. And what of Diablo, the man who brought the monster to life? He was the victim of his own ambition, drowned in a whirlpool. Diablo will never control Dragon Man again. Call it irony, fate, coincidence, call it what you will. At that very moment, across the street, the actions of the two Avengers are being observed by the piercing eyes of, oh, how'd you ever guess, faithful one? Dragon Man has finally been returned within the grasp of Diablo. This, then, is the moment I have long awaited. Too long have I allowed my enemies to believe that such as they could defeat one who has mastered the science of alchemy. While in hiding, I have developed this weapon to magnify the power of my miraculous potions. Now, to put into operation my supreme plan. The next instant, before an astonished crowd of passers-by, a new office structure across the street from Hank Pym's lab seems to shimmer with sentient light as it changes color. Then a startled voice rings out. It's not possible. The Dayton building, it's turned to gold. But to be realistic about it, gold-plated buildings aren't an everyday occurrence, not even in the more fashionable suburbs. Thus, within minutes, "Keep back, everybody. It's just some publicity stunt, I think." Stunt or not, let me at it. 10 stories of the stuff and me without a putty knife. Soon, hearing all the hubbub, a famous neighbor and his lady friend arrive on the scene. I don't get it. Who could have caused such a thing, and why here? Could it possibly be a coincidence? Maybe, but I doubt it. Look, Phil, it's Goliath and the Wasp. I heard he lived around here, but I never saw him before. Uh-oh, we're making an even bigger disturbance than the building. I knew we should have changed into civvies. We'd better shrink down to ant size, Jan, fast. I'm with you, High Pockets. However, that too proves to have its distinct disadvantages. What? Where'd they go? Watch it. Hank, that boy's shoe. I see it, gal, but thanks. Let's cut out of here before I end up as Pancake Man. Besides, there's something I've got to do. Then, moments later, not far from the madding crowd. Call it a hunch, but I've got a feeling this whole scene was purposely designed to lure us here and away from Dragon Man. So, we're going back to the lab as soon as I call the other Avengers. And, almost instantaneously, at a certain midtown mansion. What is it, Pietro? You seem so disturbed. Don't let him fool ya, lady. He's just miffed that Scanner won't pick up Huckleberry Hound. I'm picking up an urgent summons from Goliath. Why didn't you say so, Whitey? You can bet he ain't calling us for a hot dog cookout. Exactly 1 minute later, when Hank Pym has filled his partners in on recent events in suburbia. Wait, Hawkeye, Hercules, aren't you going to come with us? Nay, bewitching one, the mind of Hercules doth dwell on other matters. Let him be, Wanda. We're not going to need his help just to look over a gold-plated building. Anyways, we gotta get moving if we don't want to fall too far behind Speedy Gonzales there. Have no fear, Hawkeye. I merely go to warm up the arrow car. What cares the Prince of Power for structures made of mere gold? I, who have dwelt amongst the eternally shimmering spires of Olympus, home of the gods themselves. The world of mortals is truly a wondrous place, yet 'tis scarcely meant for the son of Zeus. But more of Hercules' musings anon, or even later, for at this very second in Goliath's laboratory. One thing about being lab assistant to High Pockets, there's never a dull moment. Why, even working for Tony Stark wasn't. Hey! Who are you and what? I waste no words on underlings, fool. You need only know that I have come to reclaim my property, the Dragon Man. Oh yeah? Well, Goliath might just have something to say about that. Correction, dolt. He has nothing whatsoever to say about it, any more than do you. That nutty disc it's given out with the kick of a mule can't Even as he gasps out these words, the courageous Bill Foster is hurled against a heavily reinforced wall and lapses into unconsciousness. Then my Dynadisc worked to perfection as I knew it would. And with the one called Goliath decoyed away, there is no one to stop me. Dragon Man is mine, for it should take no more than a jolt from my dynadisc to awaken that brainless Brobdingnagian brute. Arise, my creation. As once I gave you life, I now give you freedom. The powerful ray blast strikes the huge, unmoving figure with full force. Then, two long slumbering eyes open with frightening suddenness. And once more, Dragon Man lives. However, before the evil Diablo has time to gloat, "So I was right. I was off on a wild goose chase." And you sure fit Reed Richards' description of Diablo. But you're supposed to be dead. Ha! Did the overrated Mr. Fantastic truly believe that a man who has lived for centuries could be destroyed by a whirlpool? As for you, your intrusion is a mere distraction. My dynadisc will repel giants as easily as their assistants. Could be Methuselah, but you overlooked one minor point. What if I suddenly become normal-sized and duck under your little sunbeam? Pompous fool! You should have remained a gargantuan oaf so that a single blow would have rendered me senseless. Instead, you allowed me to draw my auric ray weapon. You saw its effects on a metal structure now. I shall learn what it will do to a human being. To tell the truth, friend, I'd just as soon you didn't find out. The wasp! I was careless. I should have known you would not be far from Goliath. But you eliminated only one of my weapons. I still have my dynadisc. It's like being struck by a solid object. I'm falling. Then, as the stricken girl plummets downward, "You'll pay for that, Diablo, if she's injured." Your threat is empty, Goliath. For the Dragon Man now lives and obeys the commands of the one who revived him. And my command is to kill. I'll admit he looks like something out of King Kong. But I've just got your word for how tough he is. I'm whistling in the dark. That monster's all muscle. Got to charge him, get in the first blow. The next second, two titanic forms clash in a violent tableau. It's like hitting a wall of reinforced steel. I've got my work cut out for me. Destroy him, my cyclopean slave. Show him no mercy. Your power is far greater than his. You may have a point there, mister, but remember, the bigger they are, nothing like a little leverage for making it a brand new ballgame. Nope, I can't say it, just too hackneyed. Instead, I'll just demonstrate what I mean like this. Yet, almost at once, it can't be. I knocked out a wall full of expensive machinery. And all I made him do is growl louder. Something tells me this isn't gonna be one of the easy ones. Up, you lumbering beast, rise, like the living powerhouse that you are. Attack while he is still stunned by your matchless strength. Stow the cheerleading, mister. Your boy's doing all right by himself. Fl. He's got me. That 2-ton freak is faster than he looks. But I just remembered Jan's on the floor somewhere, out cold. Got to pull Dragon Man away from where she fell. She mustn't be harmed. My split-second hesitation was all he needed. He's hurling me backward like so much balsa wood. Close with him once more, my creation. Don't allow him a moment's respite. I don't know much else about that Diablo character, but he sure would have made a great fight manager. Then, as the huge android prepares to lunge, at least I've carried the battle away from Jan. But I don't know how many of that monster's blows I can take. I might be able to take Dragon Man alone, but guided by Diablo's cunning. Wait, that sinister shadow falling over me. Just one chance, and it's got to be. Now. Next, the towering Goliath turns towards the human whose sepulchral tones have controlled the now fallen android. No, it isn't possible. You've knocked down Dragon Man, and the power of my Dynadisc is exhausted. Back! Get back! How dare you attempt to lay your profane hands on Diablo? It's easy, pal. Just watch me. But on second thought, why should I lay a hand on you? I'd just get my gloves dirty. So I think I'll try a fist instead. I wish I felt as confident as I sound. My every limb aches so that I can hardly move. Maybe, if I can polish off Diablo, his playmate will lose interest in fighting. But before Hank Pym can test the truth of his theory, it's Dragon Man. He has recovered. And I needed him to tell me that. He is dazed, my Dragon Man, on the verge of total physical collapse. Don't pause, you mindless monstrosity. You must destroy him before he can regain his strength. He's right. Everything's going black around me. Still, I can't give up. Must fight back. Then, I floored him because he and Diablo thought I was finished. But that's all she wrote. I couldn't lift my arm again if my life depended on it. And it does. Only one chance, if I can get to my weapons room. Wait, that monstrous shadow falling over me. Looks like I've had it. We'd have put some dynamic dialogue in this panel, but we kind of think you can figure out what's happening. Smiley and rascally. And, as the Dragon Man lifts the still form of Goliath, as easily as a child would lift a doll. We have triumphed, my obedient puppet. Now take him high into the air and hurl. Wait, suddenly I see it all clearly. I would be a fool to dispose of Goliath yet. Rather, I shall enlist his aid as my faithful, powerful ally. And, to ensure his loyalty when he awakens, I have the fallen wasp. With both Dragon Man and Goliath as my slaves, I can challenge the entire world. However, the rest of the world will have to wait a while. For, the next second, amidst the harsh sound of shattering glass, it's Hawkeye, another infernal Avenger. Attack him, my Dragon Man. Uh-oh, I feel like I just walked in on the middle of a monster movie. But that bozo ain't heading my way to sell me any popcorn. Yet, if Hawkeye comes, can Quicksilver be far behind? Kill the archer, you brainless brute! What are you looking at? That huge creature can see me, even at this blinding speed. But its human master evidently can't. I do not know what goes on here yet. I behold the unconscious form of Goliath. Then, even as the android lunges for Pietro. Here, tall, dark, and ugly, this tear gas arrow ought to have some kind of effect on your baby blues. You may not bawl your eyes out, but you won't be watching much color TV for a spell." An instant later, as the momentarily sightless dragon man furiously rubs his irritated eyes, "Nuts! He'll be good as new in a couple of seconds. I'd make book on it. And when he does, he's gonna be mad. I'd better circle around him, try to figure out if he has a weak spot." But no sooner does the ace bowman take a step than, "He's got me. That tail of his is as alive as the rest of him. I'm being crushed. Wanda, throw a whammy on this overgrown salamander." "Hurry, lady." "I need not be told what to do, Hawkeye. For am I not the Scarlet Witch? Now, if only my unpredictable hex power will work on this inhuman monster." "Ya did it, witchy. You took the kink out of his tail and he dropped me." "I take back every crack I ever made about your nutty hexes. They're my favorite people." But, in their anxiety over the safety of Hawkeye, Wanda and Pietro, have failed to attack the merciless Diablo, and so my Dragon Man could easily destroy all three of you. But I have no time to waste. Your touching concern for your fellow Avenger enabled me to regain my fallen auric ray. And now, prepare for death at the hands of Diablo." Yet, it is not at the superpowered trio that the evil alchemist fires. "I cannot take a chance that my ray won't turn them to gold. But there is another way. He turns the very rafters into solid gold." "But why?" "Don't you see? Gold won't hold up the roof." The next second, as if to graphically underscore Hawkeye's cry, "The building is collapsing! Run, Pietro!" "No, the only chance for all of us is my great speed." "It's too late. You'd never get us out in time." And indeed, it seems that the courageous trio's time has truly run out. For, long moments later, when the cascading columns of dust begin to dissipate over a laboratory in ruins, "Ha! The fools received but what they deserved. Let all who see this gleaming golden rubble know that I, Diablo, here destroyed 3 of the mighty Avengers." But this was merely the first of many triumphs. Soon every one on earth shall tremble at the sound of my name. For months it carefully watched, cunningly waited, until the invincible Dragon Man should again come within my grasp. Now he is mine forever. Yet I shall spend no more precious seconds gloating over the dead. Come, you grotesque gargoyle. We shall take the Wasp and Goliath, who were outside the radius of falling debris, and carry them to my stronghold far across the seas. Then, as the gargantuan form rises from the earth, onward, I must execute at once my flawless, infallible plan. So supremely confident is the master alchemist, so utterly contemptuous of all who would oppose him, that he deigns not even to glance backward as he ascends. But, if he did, he would behold this startling tableau. "Wanda, Hawkeye, are you all right? My head was grazed." "I think we're both okay, Whitey, thanks to you. You managed to shove us with exact precision so that the heavier pieces missed us. I'm still not sure it really happened. But we heard Diablo speak of a deadly plan. What could it be? Good question, lady, but I'm afraid I've got an even better one. Namely, as long as Diablo controls the power of Dragon Man, how can anybody hope to stop him? Next-ish, the plan and the power. Next issue, The Avengers, number 42.